Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as anonymous? I am a South African woman who is aged 35 years old, and I have come here because I'm suffering a lot. I used to enjoy this. I thought that this was going to last forever, but I guess that there is nothing that comes from the devil that will ever last forever. So what happened, Brother Nashi, was that I had this other woman that was from Zim. She used to do my hair as well as my eyelashes and install my nails. And she was working downtown at this other salon. I got to know him through this other mutual friend. I was looking for a hairdresser because my hairdresser had moved out of Joburg. She had returned back to Eastern Cape. So I am that type, like I have a ancestral calling. So my ancestors, they do not want anyone to just touch my head. So I struggled from a very young age, and I did not want anyone to do my hair except for my mother and my grandmother. So I was always like that, and that was the reason as to why I always kept a natural look, because I could just do it on my own here and there. If I wanted to go somewhere else, maybe that is when I would consider to have my hair done. But when that would be happening, I would feel as if I want to vomit, because that person will be touching my hair. Those that have an ancestral calling, I'm sure that they understand what I'm trying to say. It happens when you have an ancestral calling. Your ancestors can even refuse you to walk with shoes. You have to walk without any shoes, even to go to town, to the mall. You're not wearing any shoes at all. If that is what they want, then that is what you are supposed to do. So my ancestors, they did not want my hair to be touched by anyone that they do not approve of. So it happened that my friend said that she had this other woman who was working downtown at this other saloon. She wanted us to go and pick her up. We then went and we picked up this Zimbabwean woman. When we went to her house, I was just having a conversation with my friend, and I saw that this woman, she was very good. She knew her job very well, and I just connected with her. It was like my ancestors said that this one, she is the one that can do your hair. I then got her contacts, so every week she would come do my eyelashes, then after 2 weeks my nails, also my hair. And this woman will always come and she will do me right. In time, we started discussing a lot of stuff. My husband, who is a doctor, started dating this other junior nurse who had been working at the hospital where he was, at the government hospital. She was on her attachments. So that girl, she was very disrespectful. She was destroying my life. I then said, what am I going to do? One day I was having a conversation with my mom back home in KZN, telling her about everything that was happening in my marriage, and I did not know if my marriage was going to last. This woman, after I had spoken with my mom on the phone, she then got involved in that conversation, even though I did not even ask for her opinion. She told me that I was supposed to fight for my husband if I really wanted my husband, and I said, I've been trying, dear. She then said, are you giving him enough sex? And I said, yes. And she told me that she knew of charms, and I said, what charms are you talking about? She told me that a woman's body is not supposed to feel cold. When a man is inside, he's supposed to feel warm. Like when a woman is pregnant, she always feels hot, and men want to feel that hotness at all the times. The moment that you go cold, if your husband meets up with a woman that is always warm inside, then she is going to steal your husband. I then said, so what do you want me to do? She said that the charm is very simple. All that I had to do was to buy cold drink, but stony, and I was supposed to mix it with ginger, honey. I had to do this every morning, and I have to drink ginger tea at all the times. Indeed, I saw some change. That is why I ended up even going to Zim, because I was trusting in the process. And when I started doing this, drinking some cold drink that was stony mixed with mint as well as ginger, also ginger tea. My husband, when I would sleep with him, he would look at me and he will say that, you taste different, you taste nice, what are you drinking? And he always wanted to sleep with me at all the times. So the relationship with that nurse, they finally broke up, and he said that he was very sorry because he did not know that he had something that was as good as this in his own house. And I was grateful to that woman. That woman, when she came back, and I told you that my life was now like, okay, my husband was the man that he used to be, and I was happy with my husband. Then she said to me, you know, men are like little children. One day she is going to meet maybe a woman that is from Zim. She told me that they, in their country, the women, they are taught from a very young age how to shake their bodies when they are in bed. She told me that her grandmother used to take a needle and she will put the needle in the ground, and she will tell her to lie on top, but she had to lift her waist in the air. And if she would sleep, then the needle would be stuck on her back, which meant that she had to keep her waist in the air and her buttocks in the air at all the times. Otherwise, she would be hurt by the needle. And that is what she was trained when she was very young, how to handle a man in bed. She then said, in order for you to protect your marriage from women like me, because if I touch your husband only once, he's going to forget about you because of the things that I will do to him from the moment that I start removing his clothes to the moment that he finishes. There are things that can be done to a man that will make a man to forget about his wife, and I am trying to protect you, sis. And then I agreed, and I said, if there are any other charms that I can use so that I won't have any heartbreak at all again, then let me use those charms. She then said that these charms, she can bring them over to South Africa, but they can lose all the power. And if I wanted those charms to work really well, I was supposed to go with her to Zim. I finally agreed. We then went together to Zim. We stayed in a village for a little while. Then we went to this other village where there was this other woman. This woman was a traditional healer. She then gave me some of the charms, and I started to use those charms when I was still there. They even enlarged my labia so that they can hold a man's manhood when he is sleeping with me, so that the man's manhood, once it goes inside, it just does not come out, if you know what I mean. Those are meant to hold your man's manhood. And then I returned back to South Africa. Me and my husband, we started to have a great time of our lives. But I did not know that once you do these love covenants, like on your own, you start to have a spiritual husband. This spiritual husband will be the one that will be controlling your husband, so that your husband will only look at you and no one else. So later on, when I was enjoying my marriage, it was in the afternoon, my husband was at work, and then that was when I had a dream. I was sleeping in my bedroom. It was on a hot day on that day, and then I saw a man. This man, from the waist going downwards, he was like a snake, but going upwards, he was a man. And he came and he climbed on top of the bed. He started to sleep with me, and I enjoyed it. I don't know how many times I enjoyed whilst he was on top of me. When I woke up, the whole bed, it was totally wet, and I did not understand what was going on, what had happened. I remembered the dream, and this was the start of my problems with the spiritual husband. To this very day, I am still with this spiritual husband. I have gone to different churches, but still, wherever I go to, they tell me that these charms, they have to be thrown away in Zim, where I got them. And now I am so stuck because this spiritual husband has been giving me bad luck. I can't even afford anything. Eventually, me and my husband, we separated because of this spiritual husband, because he is very jealous. He does not want me to sleep with a man, but only to sleep with him in my dreams, and he has been giving me bad luck. If he was giving me money, I'll say that it is better. But why am I suffering? I don't even know. I am regretting because of the things that I did. It was only for a little while that I was able to protect my marriage. But when I look at myself now, I did not protect my marriage, but I destroyed my marriage. Maybe if I had just left my husband doing what he was doing, maybe in the end, he was going to see that what he's doing was wrong and he was going to return back to me. My heart is filled with regret, so much that you can't even understand. I just want to send a warning to other women out there. You need to be careful, especially when another woman starts to teach you about other charms that you never grew up knowing. I told myself that since I was born with an ancestral calling, maybe it was my ancestors that had guided me to this woman. To this very day, this woman, I really do not even know where she is, if she is still in South Africa or if she has left. The phone numbers that I knew, they do not work. I once went to the hair salon where I knew she used to work. They told me that she had moved out of Gauteng. Where she is right now, I really do not even know. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. If you have any confession that you wish to share with us, please do not hesitate to communicate with us, to speak with us. Let us try to speak with our dear sister in the comment section. Then there is another message that was sent to me. The message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as anonymous? I have come here because I have my own story that I wish to share with you, and my story, it goes on like this. Please, this story that I'm sharing with you, do not even tell people my name because I'm scared. So what happened when I came to South Africa, I joined this other gang of South Africans. They used to steal. Like what we used to do was that if it was on a weekend, especially if it was a weekend of a month end, we would wake up early in the morning, maybe around 12 a.m. or maybe around 1 or 2. Then we would drive around robbing people, those that were coming from the groove. One day, an unfortunate incident happened. One of the guy stabbed this other man that was from Zim, and he died. He came to my house and he told me the things that he had done. So growing up, I used to hear that if you drink the blood of the person that you have killed, then that spirit will never follow you. I said, where did you stab this person? He took me to this other small bush area where he had stabbed him, and I told him to drink that man's blood, and he drank that man's blood, and I said that he will never follow you and you will never get arrested. So we returned back and he threw away the knife. I don't know how the police ended up arresting him, but he was arrested eventually and he's still in prison to this very day. After this incident had happened, I then told myself that it was better for me to get a job. So I struggled to get a job in Johannesburg, and I moved out of Joburg and I went to Mpumalanga, where I started working on this other farm. It was an orange farm that I was working at in Mpumalanga. Whilst I was working on that orange farm, I used to see a lot of snakes, and I nearly got bitten by a snake one day when I was on top of a ladder busy doing my job. This kept on happening until one man who was a traditional healer whom we were working with, this man, he said that this meant that there was something that was happening in the spirit. These were not your regular snakes that were always attacking me. I was supposed to find spiritual help. Fast forward, I then went to Zim. When I went to Zim, I just went to this other prophet. So this prophet told me that there was a spirit that was following me of a man that I had killed in South Africa. I laughed and I said, this man, he is just claiming he does not know what he's talking about. He's saying that there is a spirit of a man that I killed. I never killed anyone. In my mind, I had already forgotten about that man that had killed this man that they had robbed, even though I was not there. But for the fact that I went there and I said that he should drink his blood. That is how I got involved in the whole mess. And that man, I told him that he did not even know what he was talking about. Fast forward, Brother Nashi, I then returned back to South Africa. It happened 3 times until I saw that there was something wrong that was going on with me. I went to work and we get paid by the fortnight. It was on a Friday. I was returning back from work. I met these other South Africans who robbed me all of my money, and the following fortnight again I met this man. They robbed me. I then said, who has told this man that I always have money after each and every fortnight? So these men, the way that they would wait for me, they wait for me in a place whereby I won't be able to run away from them, because I have to use that street in order to get to the place where I was staying. So I then said, let me buy a loaf of bread. So then I would buy a loaf of bread, and after I would have bought a loaf of bread, and I would put the money inside that loaf of bread. I then bought a brown Sasco bread, and I opened it up. I removed the pieces of bread, and then I put the money in between, and then I tied the bread again, and I left some money in my pockets. As I was walking, those young South Africans, they came to me and they said that they have been robbing me for a very long time, and they just wanted the bread that I was holding. I nearly collapsed to the ground. I even told them that at least they should take the money for the bread. I wanted to eat it. They snatched the bread from me and they walked away. And when they opened the bread, they saw the money. I don't know who told them this. It was just like bad luck, but this happened to me. It happened again and again until I looked for a traditional healer who has told me that I am being troubled by the spirit of the man that was killed, and his blood is on my hands. And I told the man who had killed him that he was supposed to drink his blood so that his spirit will never rise up from the dead again. So he also wants me to get punished, and I'm scared because he has told me that I am supposed to go to the police station to tell my story, even though I never participated. But for the fact that I told another man to drink his blood, he says that I want you to also rot in prison. I have seen his ghost several times. There was even a time when I was holding my phone because I am always lonely. I was watching a porn video. I was about to get ready to enjoy. That was when all of a sudden I saw his face. It appeared out of nowhere, but in the screen of my phone. I screamed so hard. Even the neighbors, they came knocking and they asked me what had happened to me, but I just lied to them that I had seen a snake, but it was just a lie. I'm looking for a prophet who is around Joburg or Mpumalanga that can assist me, especially if that person is from Zim or a traditional healer. If you fail to get someone that is a prophet for me, I'll be following through in the comment section. Please assist me because I always listen to your stories when I am at work. You should see the way that my bosses even hate me at work. They hate me. If there is anything that is going wrong in the company, my boss will always blame me, even though I will not be the one to be blamed. If there is a customer who wants to give my boss a contract, if that contract fails, my boss can even punch me without me even knowing that on the phone that you would have received, maybe it will be from the company that will be telling him that they cannot proceed with the contract with this company. He has done this several times. He has punished me and punched me several times, and I do not know why he punishes me like that. When you post my story, please tell me. I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Let us try to speak with our dear brother in the comment section. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Yo.